The loneliness of the long-distance dater. Okay, so here we are in Bucharest in Romania, the capital city of Romania, and it's absolutely beautiful here today. It's cold but sunny, and I'm just wandering around into the old town, and it's such a beautiful city. It's really, really pretty. I love the architecture here. I love the buildings, and what's interesting about it as well is we were here last night, and I mean, we're now in late November, coming into December, and it was like Ibiza or something in the old town. It was absolutely rammed, loads of people around, people dancing in the streets. There's loads of like shisha bars here, bars, nightclubs. There's a few red lighty type things around as well. I mean, it's really fun, but it's in the context of this very pretty, very attractive looking European city. They call it, or they used to call it, the Paris of the East, didn't they? So yeah, I'm a fan. It's a good place. It's a good place, and yeah, we'll see how the rest of the trip goes. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about in this video is the loneliness of the long distance dater. Now look, if you want to build a lifestyle, try and walk past here before these guys start this music again. If you want to build a lifestyle where basically you are non-exclusive as far as place is concerned, so you can be location independent, you can live where you want to live, you can work where you want to work, and you can date who you want to date internationally, then in 2022 going into 2023, that is absolutely possible. I think that's been proven incontestably over the last few years by a number of people who've done exactly that. And I know a lot of people who are doing exactly that. You know, they don't have a fixed country that they're living in, they travel around. I know some people who are nomadic the whole time, don't even have a home address. They just sort of move around and enjoy life, go to different places as the mood takes them, and date around. I am sort of moving into that category, although I do have a base actually in London, and a base in Berlin as well. But you know, I have done a lot of traveling this year, been to a lot of different places, and it's been a blast. Is there a downside to it though? Well, yes, because like with everything, there's always going to be negatives as well as positives, and you know, one of the negatives with living in that way is the inevitable loneliness that can come along as a part of it. Because let's be frank, we're not really built to live like this, are we? We're not really, and you couldn't have lived like this, you couldn't have done this. Even 10, 15 years ago, it would have been hard. And certainly like 20, 25 years ago, it would have been almost impossible. I mean, I suppose people did it, but it's so much easier to do it now. So we're now living in an existence of possibilities and abundance that is almost unprecedented, except for the very richest and the very most powerful kings and emperors and princes of yore, which is great. But as I said, we're not really built to live like this, and it does bring these negative sides. And I mean, you know, yesterday, it's funny because a few years ago I wrote this thing on Twitter, and I was saying the playboy sitting in his Airbnb waiting for the girl to text him back, and painting this rather sad picture of the itinerant bachelor and the woes that he's suffering, right? And it's quite funny because yesterday I was in this, I was sitting down and I was in this 5-star hotel. I'm in this like super fancy 5-star hotel here, and and I was sort of sitting there, and I was seeing if somebody was going to message me, and I was thinking about somebody that I'd been dating before, that I was sad about, and I kind of missed, and all of these feelings were just, and you get this existential meltdown feel where you're like, what the hell am I even doing here? You know, and for me, spending a lot of this year in hotels, in different hotels, some quite nice, quite fancy hotels, but the landscape, it doesn't matter, right? It's about the feelings inside, and you can feel lonely and sad and meaningless anywhere, really, even in the most palatial of surroundings, which is kind of where I am at the moment, because the place where I'm staying today is it's really, really very nice, really fancy. I'm very blessed in that regard. And as I say, you know, it's, if you want to build this lifestyle, if you want to do this, it's absolutely doable. But do many people actually really want to do it? That's the thing. I think they probably don't, to be honest. I think most guys I speak to really, in the end, they want to find a girlfriend. They want to find a long-term relationship. And that's absolutely fair enough. That's absolutely fine. Whatever your end game is, that's down to you to decide. That's down to you to figure out and work out and work towards. But my message has always been that you don't necessarily have to fall into what society wants you to do just because that's what your friends are doing, just because that's what your mates are doing, okay? But with any choice that you make, you are going to find there are going to be negatives associated with that choice. There are going to be things that you like less about it, okay? So if you're traveling around and you're dating around and you're living a life that really many people can only dream of, then that's great in some ways, but you are also going to feel lonely. There's inevitably going to be connections with women that you make, and those are going to be severed, and that's going to be upsetting. And, you know, it's a lie to say that, oh, we'll just go and sleep with someone else, bro, and you'll be fine. It doesn't really work like that. Some of those scars can last for a long time, believe me, and they can be deep. But if you say, well, sod all of that, I'm gonna enter into a committed and secure relationship, and I'm gonna settle down, I'm gonna be with the one, or even if you're gonna be with the one, but you occasionally stray a little bit on the side, as some people choose to do, don't make the mistake of thinking that that is some kind of Elysium either, because it really isn't. Because the problem is that as human beings, we are all flawed, male and female, we are all flawed, in the sense that we get bored very quickly and we crave variety, okay? And you're not going to get out of that, man. You're not going to, you know, you might want to. You might come on here and lecture me and say, well, you know, you should settle down, you should do the right thing. But you yourself, you are not going to get around your own innate human nature, which is that you're going to get bored. And you're going to be sitting there on the Sunday afternoon, you'll be thinking, God, I wish I was walking around Bucharest, you know? I wish I was still on Tinder. I wish I was still dating. And then if you choose to do those things and you decide to give up your relationship and go and travel and date around and all that stuff, then you're going to be sitting there lonely in the hotel room some nights, not every night of course, but you know, it's going to happen. You're going to be thinking, God, why did I give up that security? Why did I give up that wonderful life that I had? Why did I give up that sure thing, you know, for this? For what? For this. It's ephemeral, it's nothingness, it's emptiness. It's shallow, okay? It doesn't really satisfy me on a core level. And you're right, because the travel and the girls and the dating, it's not going to satisfy you on any deep, fundamental core level, okay? It's just not. Because, and equally, being in a committed relationship with somebody isn't really either, because none of these things, all of that stuff is about how you relate to other people, how you relate to somebody else, okay? It's about an external relationship that you have. It's not about you on the inside, okay? And the answer to all of this stuff, really, if you want to get deep, is spiritual. The answer is a spiritual answer. The answer isn't in who we date or the type of relationship that we have or whether we are monogamous or not monogamous. The answer is in getting right with ourselves on a spiritual level, and that is a much, much bigger conversation. It's a much longer and more complex endeavour that each of us should undertake, although not everybody does, but we probably should if we want to have a meaningful life. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. I'm feeling good now because this really is a really wonderful city. It's a really, really cool place and I'm enjoying being here very much. And, you know, I've got a lot to be grateful for, okay? I've got a lot to be grateful for. They say My mentor says, write a gratitude list. He's always telling me to write gratitude lists. A lot of the time I don't bother because I can be quite lazy, but I have been doing it a bit recently. And when I think about my life and I think about where I am now compared to where I was some years ago, I'm in a fantastic position. But there are costs that you have to pay, okay? And I paid a lot of costs, emotionally, financially, spiritually even maybe, in order to do what I suppose I always wanted to do, which is this. So I'll leave it there for now. If this is of interest to you, if you have been affected by the topics discussed in this video, then don't hesitate to get in touch. We can get on the phone, we can have a chat. Maybe I can help you with some mentoring or some coaching. Just drop me an email, troy@realtroyfrancis.com, or hit the link below to book a slot on my Calendly. And I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.